We're here now with Ed Thorne, Pembroke's Town Administrator, for our Town Talk segment. Welcome, Ed.
Kim, always a pleasure.
And we have a town meeting coming up in April.
We do. Tuesday, April 28th. It'll be at the Pembroke High School starting at 7:30. We're trying to move it up to 7 o'clock so we can get started earlier. It doesn't seem to be a big problem.
Okay.
So, but that's where we're at right now.
Great. So let's talk about the budget a little bit.
Well, right now, the budget that I presented to the Selectmen and the Finance Committee / Advisory is balanced. We're not using any stabilization or any free cash. And free cash is like monies that left over from last year,
okay, or
monies that could be left over for this year. In some states, they call it a fund balance. But right now, we're balanced. It's about a $57 million budget. We have some built-in cost of living raises for union and non-union folks. We have a certain amount of money that's been set aside for the school department. Basically, we had about $1.1 million that we projected in surplus revenue, and we distributed that $500,000 to the schools, about almost $400,000 for fixed costs, which is health insurance, property insurance, things like that. Mm-hmm. And the rest went to certain departments. So we're pleased right now that we're going to go into fiscal 16 balanced.
That's nice.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, we got the snow and ice deficit that will carry over until next year.
Was that real bad this year?
And that could be close to $1 million. But we feel that we'll have enough in surplus revenue to cover that at the fall town meeting.
Okay. Well, looks like you have a good plan in place for that.
Well, we're fortunate, unlike some communities that we see that are facing some layoffs either due to snow and ice or just rising costs in general.
And I understand you are sponsoring the purchase of some land across from a cranberry bog, or used to be a cranberry bog.
That's correct. Several years ago, we had a study done of Furnace Pond because that particular body of water is really filling up with muck, for a lack of a better term. And there's probably half as much muck as there is water, and we don't want that pond to eventually just die. And so we had a study done, and the dredging portion of the study showed that it would cost about $20 million to dredge that pond, and the bulk of the cost would come from taking it out of the pond and putting it somewhere, trucking it somewhere, or placing it somewhere.
What usually happens? Do you know?
Well, you got all kinds of variations. You could truck it out of there. It's about 98% water, so you're just taking water out of Furnace. And the cost was prohibitive. So we found out that there are about 10 acres of land across Mattakesa Street from Furnace Pond was available. And we saw that as an ideal situation to actually, when we pump the sludge or muck out of Furnace Pond, all we have to do is pipe it under Mattakesa Street and onto this 10-acre site. And then we can dry it out and then literally sell it. And it'll be pretty valuable on the market. So
this is one that
it's not toxic. Doesn't have any of those nasty things in
chemicals
it.
In it.
But we think it would be a long-range project for the town.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and look forward to town meeting on April 28th, correct?
That's correct.
All right, great.